Welcome back to the Lone Road iRacers podcast. I'm Guy Robertson, and today we're diving into something every iRacer wonders at some point: what's hot and what's not on the iRacing platform. We're breaking down the cars with the most and least participation in 2025 Season 1. From beginner favourites to niche machines, we've gathered the stats, dug through the data, and we're here to tell you what the community is flocking to and what's getting left behind in the garage. So buckle up and we're going to get into it. So let's kick things off with a twisty stuff road racing. The most popular car driven in Season 1 2025 was actually the global Mazda MX-5 in the Fanatec Cup. With 54,944 unique drivers participating in the global MX-5 Fanatec Cup during Season 1 2025. It's safe to say this series reigns supreme in road racing. But what makes the MX-5 so popular? First, it's part of iRacing's base content, making it completely free to all members. Second, the MX-5 is forgiving for beginners but provides enough depth for veterans to still enjoy. And we all know this is one of the sports cars for the rookie license that iRacing put you in to start with. This car has become the de facto training ground for learning the racecraft. The low horsepower ensures drivers focus on cornering and momentum rather than brute force and acceleration. The fixed setup format also removes tuning barriers and makes for pure competitive racing. Weekly races are highly accessible with multiple splits accommodating for all license levels. To maintain or even grow its popularity, iRacing could consider offering new liveries, a refreshed cockpit model, or rotating track schedules that introduce lesser known circuits. These small updates can reinvigorate interest in a legacy series. Another very popular car is the Ferrari GT3 in the GT3 Challenge. Fixed has also shown impressive numbers with 27,085 unique participants. The GT3 class is one of the most watched motorsport segments globally, and iRacing's Ferrari only fixed setup series lets drivers experience that thrill without the chaos of multi-class events. This car appeals to those looking for a middle ground, something faster than the MX-5 but still manageable. The sound design and handling model of the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo 2020 are both excellent, which helps driver immersion. The fixed setup format again ensures accessibility. Again, to keep its momentum, iRacing could consider rotating manufacturers seasonally or adding some community challenges or seasonal events. For more customization options could have also improved player engagement. I don't think I've got my teeth in this morning. Now moving on to ovals. We're gonna shift gears to the left turn kings of our oval races. Most popular is the Rookie Street Stock by Fanatec series. The Rookie Street Stock series is the king of oval participation, clocking in an impressive 29,926 unique drivers in 2025 Season 1. As a base content car and rookie level series, it naturally attracts new drivers entering the oval scene. Street stocks offer a mix of simplicity and challenge. They are easy to drive at a basic level but become difficult to master due to their weight and nuances of short track racing. The action is close, the strategy is simple, but the fun is nearly guaranteed. Most importantly, they are a gateway into the broader world of oval racing. iRacing could improve engagement by adding more regionalised short tracks, supporting community organised series, or featuring real-world tie-ins with NASCAR grassroots programs. Seasonal paint schemes based on real-world drivers might also inject some extra interest. Other popular cars in oval, but not at the very top, are the Arca, Maynard series and Craftsman trucks, which draw decent numbers and serve as excellent transition cars for racers looking to climb the oval ladder. The Arca car in particular is a fan favourite due to its old school stock car feel and focus on throttle control. Participation could be boosted with better onboarding content explaining how to progress through these series, or even an achievement system tied to license advancement and race performance. Oval racers, especially new ones, thrive on feedback and recognition. Now it's time to get into the sadder side we are now going to look at the Formula car, folks. Don't know why I was saying that rubbish. This section though is about the cars where they're actually struggling. And the least popular car, believe it or not, is the Dallara Formula IR. This futuristic single-seater only saw 6 unique drivers during 2025 Season 1, which is astonishingly low for a car that once symbolised innovation in iRacing. The Formula IR's design aimed to bridge the gap between real-world innovation and sim-race-based competition, but it never caught on. The main issue: it's expensive, complicated to drive, and lacks a consistent official series presence. Without weekly races or seasonal championships to drive interest, the car languishes in obscurity. To revive the Formula IR, iRacing could create a dedicated fixed setup series and add it to the rotating weekly schedule. Additionally, making a car temporarily free during a promotional event could bring new eyes to it. Even a special event or esports style competition might even light the spark. Also struggling on iRacing is the stock car Brazil, and this has only recently been refreshed as well. It saw only 28 drivers in Season 1 2025, and it is another ghost town. Despite solid physics and a faithful recreation of the Brazilian series, it suffers from poor visibility and limited community. Localized events, translation updates, or partnerships with Brazilian streamers could give it a new life. iRacing might even consider bundling this car with popular content or offering time-limited discounts. Then you've got Formula A Grand Prix Series. This had just 54 drivers in Season 1 2024. That's shockingly low for a car modelled after Premier Tier open-wheel machinery. The issue lies, though, in its steep learning curve and the lack of tiered progression support. To help iRacing could introduce an easier open-wheel series leading into the Grand Prix cars or implement driver coaching tools in test mode. So this asks the question really, folks, why do some cars thrive while others die on iRacing? So we're going to have a quick look into that. Accessibility is one reason. Free cars clearly dominate. Everybody wants things for free. If it's base content, it gets traction. Paid content struggles without strong justification. Then you've got the simplicity. Fixed setup series draw larger crowds. Tuning is a barrier, especially for newcomers. Now, me personally, I don't dabble with any cars. I will utilise a specific track, which iRacing provide a track setup, but I won't go looking or even buying a setup if I'm in an open race. I just don't see the benefit of it, and I like to keep consistent with how my cars feel while I'm driving them, and that's just my opinion. Visibility. Cars that appear in promotional content, esports, or are frequently streamed are more likely to be picked. And then there's progression. Popular cars tend to tie directly into the licensing progression, which promotes people to drive them. If you want to get up the ladder, you've got to drive these cars. Hence, guess what? People need to drive them. iRacing has a tremendous opportunity to give underused cars a new lease of life. Whether through curated series, community engagement, or educational content, they can make a difference. Bundles, trial access, or rotating car spotlights might even help drive awareness. Now, our final section in this first topic on today's podcast. As we've just heard, there are some cars that have got hardly any participation, and that means us, the iRacers. So what could iRacing replace those with so we can get more popularity once again? Well, what about electric touring cars? That's quite popular at the moment. The growth of electric racing, like the FIA ETCR or upcoming EV Touring Championships, opens the door for exciting, torquey machines that appeal to both tech enthusiasts and traditional racers. This could provide an eco-conscious yet fun alternative. And what about some historic open-wheel legends, bringing back classic F1 or IndyCar models from the 80s or 90s? Could that fill the gap left by the struggling Formula A and the Formula IR? Nostalgia-driven content often performs well on iRacing. Then looking at the entry-level crossovers, cars like the Renault Clio Cup, Hyundai i30 NTCR, or the Toyota G86 Cup could appeal to drivers looking for approachable front wheel or light rear wheel drive racing without complex setups. And finally, localised heroes, introducing regional heroes like the Australian Super 3 Series, European Hill Crime Specials or South African touring cars could expand iRacing's global reach and tap into new passionate audiences. With strong marketing, engaging events and initial incentives like free trials or spotlight weeks, these replacements could find the participation levels that currently elude cars like the Dallara IR and Stock Car Brazil. So there you have it, from the mighty Mazda MX-5 to the lonely Dallara IR. iRacing in 2025 just shows how diverse and selective our iRacing community can be. Whether you're grinding up the ladder or exploring new content, participation numbers give us a window into the iRacing crowd, what the iRacing crowd truly values. Now, I have raced the Dallara IR, but only in hosted, and I've set some hosted sessions up myself racing that car, and it goes like a bullet. Once you've got it going and stuck to the ground, it's quite easy to drive the car, but as soon as it becomes unstable, even with passing a slower car, with the aerodynamics being so good, the car becomes unstable. So I don't understand really why iRacing aren't pushing that as a permanent series that general iRacing could put together. So that's a strange one for me. But anyway, that's my opinion on that specific car. Hope you enjoyed our first topic tonight. We'll be back in a minute with how the past unfolded at Fuji in our second subject tonight. So we'll be right back. Dre is the audible iRacer's companion. Want to improve your results or get more wins? Download Dre, the digital race engineer. Hit the link in the show notes for a 10% discount. For the first time in Porsche Tiger Esports Supercup history, the track was wet for the entirety of the sixth round of the 2025 championship season at Fuji Speedway. With the iRacing weather system on display on Saturday afternoon, The added challenge to an already intense series became keeping the car on track while sliding off into other cars. While the championship will be decided next week, Fuji played a crucial role in setting the stage. Jordan Caruso won his second Tag Heuer pole award, but Cooper Webster was able to get the advantage late in the Fuji sprint race. The moment when everything changed, Cooper Webster takes advantage and scores the first Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup win of the day at Fuji in the rain. While neither would be factors for the win in the feature race won by the Team Redline's Diogo Pinto, they finished one position apart, allowing Webster to maintain his points lead and Caruso to have a shot at a second title next week in the final event of the 2025 schedule at Le Mans. Also with a shot, but just barely, is Caruso's teammate Mitchell de Jong, 75 points back. De Jong will likely need a perfect day in France to even have a shot. A perfect day refers to the fact that 85 points are available at every event in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup, with 25 points up for grabs for the sprint race and 50 in the feature. The other 10 can be won by winning the Tag Heuer Pole Award, with points distributed through the top 5 in qualifying. As previously mentioned, Caruso took the top honours in qualifying, but Webster was able to keep the points bleed to a minimum in qualifying second. In third, De Jong kept his title chances alive as well, while Sebastian Job and Tristan Iglesias rounded off the top 5. Qualifying took place on a full dry Fuji Speedway, but that would be the last time these drivers will have a completely moisture-free racing service for the remainder of the day. As the race transitioned into the sprint, the virtual skies opened up, dampening the track as rain continued to fall when the lights went out on the grid. Caruso led the blinded field behind him into the opening hairpin, most everyone figuring out that the situation and surviving for the time being. After the first few laps, a quartet of drivers had managed to pull away from the field, led by Caruso and De Jong, rounded out by Webster and Job. On the 6th lap, everything changed as De Jong slid into the first corner too deep, virtually hydroplaning off the circuit. Caruso was able to avoid contact, but it allowed for Webster to get alongside in a preferred groove. Excuse me again. Into the chicane, Webster was able to clear and take the lead. Job was able to follow through. Now mired back in third and fourth, the two-team Indian Racing Festival by APPL drivers had another group of drivers to fend off. This pack, led by Team Redline's Gustavo Oriol, again into turn 1, the sense became more dicey. Ariel saw a chance at a podium and took it, taking Caruso and De Jong 3 wide. The trio also made contact and De Jong lost out of the most, falling outside the top 10 as a result. The battle for 8th, originally between Sam Couture and Florian Leberge, was suddenly shifted up to a battle between Leberge and Alexandro Sanchez in the closing laps. Sanchez couldn't get there, allowing Leberge to get the invert to the pole position of the feature. Up front, Webster, Job and Ariel all ran single file until the end, allowing Webster to pick up another crucial 25 points in his championship campaign. Caruso settled in 4th, down in 11th. De Jong salvaged 10 points towards his championship, but his day was now set to be even tougher, starting at 11th in the feature. Now, moving on to the feature. The rain had finally stopped falling, with 18 laps on the board, a track set to dry out before the checkered flag, and a championship battle brewing in the middle of the top 10 starting spots. The potential for some crazy storylines was there. Unfortunately, the track stayed wet enough and the wet tyres stayed gripped enough that pitting for dry tyres never became an option. The Birds led the way early on, but on the 7th lap, Diogo Pinto took control and led the rest of the way, picking up his 5th career victory and 3rd career feature race with a dominant fashion. Sebastian Job, a week removed from a nightmare day at Thruxton, rebounded to finish second for the second time on the day, making him the driver with the most points scored on the day. Unfortunately, his championship hopes are officially over. The margin too lies to overcome, with only one event remaining. Second place is still possible for Job, however, as the only driver out of his reach is his teammate Webster. Caruso brought it home in sixth, while Webster wound up in seventh. Webster collectively earned 61 points on the day, while Caruso only scored 59. That leaves the gap at 40 points between the two entering the finale next week at Circuit de la Sarthe. With two 11th-place finishes, De Jong goes from 50 down to 75 points lead. But if the stars align, he could still have a chance at hoisting the title next week. So the top 5 at the moment are going into the final round: Diogo Pinto with 248, Luke McEwen 253, Mitchell De Jong 270, Jordan Caruso 305, and still leading the way, Cooper Webster. So good luck to everybody that's going to participate in the big final run at Le Mans in the coming weeks. And of course, we will give you the information of who has won and who's come second as soon as we can. So the Porsche Esports Supercup Championship has been a thrilling season so far. Hopefully it's a dry track at Le Mans, but that's a bit cruel pulling out a wet one just towards the end of the season. So I'm sure it surprised a lot of the participants, and it sounds like they did a good job. So well done to them. Well, that's it for another podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. Please keep sharing it with your iRacing friends, buddies, and people on the track. Let's get some more listeners, folks. And don't forget the YouTube version as well. That like and subscribe. That would be great. Until next week, folks. Happy iRacing.